Hello guys, my name is Behroz and welcome to my channel, and in today's video I will talk about how you can go about perfectly answering an interview question. Now before moving into those tips, one request from you, which is please do press the like button, it comes free, and subscribe button along with the bell icon. This one motivates me and goes a long way in helping me improve the quality of the content and the amount of content that I put on this channel. On this channel, I post content pertaining to career and financial success. So make sure you do support me in doing so. Now moving to the topic of the video, which is the tips in order to perfectly answer any interview question. Number one is to make sure you listen carefully. It is very important when the interviewer is speaking that you listen, not just listen, but also show that you're listening. And one way to show that you're listening is to take notes. Start scribbling, start writing whatever the interviewer is saying. Now you don't have to write every word, but start writing the key points that they are looking for. So for instance, if they're asking you a question about, tell me about a time when you led a project is one thing that you want to write about. Where you analyze certain data, and you came up with some insights and conclusions. So insights and conclusions. So essentially, when you will be giving your answer, you need to refer to those notes which you've written down and talk about leadership, data analysis, insights, and then conclusions or suggestions which came out of those insights. If that is written, one, it will help you remember when you're answering the question to make sure that all the key points that you have written are answered. And second, in case you miss one or forget, towards the end of the question or once you've answered the question, you look down and make sure that you've covered everything. So not just listen carefully, but also show that you're listening carefully and hence be able to answer the question in a very perfect manner. Number two is slow down. Do not rush. When the interviewer asks you a question, it is okay to take your time. You can take like 30 seconds, or even if you want more time, you can ask the interviewer, give me some time to structure my thoughts. What it does is, it tells the interviewer that you are someone who's thoughtful, who will think about something before just saying anything, and which goes in your favor. So it goes in your favor in projecting that you're thoughtful, and second, it allows you time to really structure your thoughts and think about the question. You don't get points for speed, you get points for a good answer, for accuracy as against speed. Now number three is a watch out. Do not start answering a question with or sounds. Rather, fill that point or that pause that you need before you answer the question with the deep breath. Yes, let me answer this question. Actually, this is what happened. This is how I delivered X, Y, Z. But do not just start with as if you're thinking you're not clear and with a pause or a strange sounding pause. Rather, the pause should be in form of a deep breath. This does two things. One is it eliminates that ugly and second, with that breath, you gain more confidence. You calm down your nerves, which is very important during the interview. But for this, what you have to do is you have to practice, and hence I highly recommend that you get in front of either a camera or you ask a family friend or a family member to sit in front of you and deliver the interview. Let them ask you questions and then you deliver those answers. By the way, I do offer one-to-one coaching as well on interviews. So in case you're interested, you can also book a session with me. I will leave the link of how you can go about booking the session in the description of this video. Next is to speak clearly, which means essentially speak slow and make sure that you are very clear. So one is the speed. Don't just rush in what you're saying. Speak very clearly because the interviewer is taking notes. And when they're writing things, it is very difficult to catch up with the speed of speaking. So you have to slow down for them to take good notes. Second, make sure when you talk about something or some experience, there should be a thread from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4 and so on and so forth. Don't jump across the steps or throughout the story. It should have a flow from the beginning till the end. Again, because the interviewer has no idea about your experience. All they're doing is they're listening to you and they're trying to take some notes and make sense of it in their own words. It is only possible for them to make sense of anything that you're saying if there is a flow to it, if you follow a structure to it, as against just randomly talking about different things that you've done in that particular project. One flow could be through the timeline. So first you did this, second you did this, third you did this, fourth you did this. and another flow could be out of priority. So the most important part was this, and then the second most important part that you did was this, third was this, and so on and so forth. So follow a structure, and it is even fine to tell them what kind of structure will you follow as you are giving the answer. It just helps them prepare and be ready to expect that there would be a structure to the answer. Number 5 is to project confidence. Very important. I already talked about it. Make sure that you practice as much as possible. I made a separate video on how you can go about projecting confidence in an interview. For instance, one way could be using your body language. If you talk with your hands and with a smile or with some passion in your body, it shows confidence that you know what you're saying and what you're talking about. As I said, I've made a separate video on how you can project confidence in an interview. I will leave the link of that video in the description of this video, and also will leave the link here. Please do check that out as well. Next is keep your language positive. Like, focus on what value and things you will bring to their organization, as against just keeping or talking about the challenges all the time. Yes, there are challenges that you solved, but as soon as you've talked about the challenge, just quickly move into the solution mode and into the mode of you selling yourself as to how you were able to solve that particular challenge. So bring everything quickly towards the positive of how you were able to recover from the bad situation and how everything eventually was positive, was good, and saved the day. Next one, and very, very important, is to be concise. Address the question directly and exactly what is needed to answer the question. Don't share details which are not relevant. Again, as I said, the interviewer is trying to make sense of what you're saying because they are taking notes. Make it very easy for them. Only give them the information which is relevant. So they only take the notes which are relevant, as against them starting to write something and then realizing this information that this person is telling me is not even relevant. I just took note of it and then canceling and then moving to the next point. And that way they will lose the chain or the interest in your answer, in your example that you're sharing. So for them to stay hooked and interested, make sure you've practiced your answers, and make sure you've practiced in a way where you only capture the most important part and the most relevant part to answer that particular question. Next one, and this is also an important one. I know I continue to say this one important, this one is important, but I guess all of the ones that I've collected here are important, and this one is also very important, which is pause for emphasis. Like, for instance, if you did 3 things to save a particular situation, so there was a problem or situation in past experience and you took 3 actions. Every time you talk about the action, emphasize with a pause. And then I analyzed data. And then I got the experts together. And then I recommended my solution. So then, when you say then, it allows the interviewer to say, okay, now they are moving into next point. So they will, as they are taking notes, they will move into the next point, and they will know exactly that there are 3 actions you took, as against you just randomly talking in a monotone. So when you change your tone and then I analyze the data and pause, that means it's kind of a heading for what next is to come from you and the explanation that you share, which is how did you analyze the data, and all of that will come later. But I analyze the data. That is a headline and should come that way when you speak. Last but not the least is to conclude each answer with a quick summary, a very quick summary. So for instance, if you did 3 things, 1, I analyzed the data and then you explain how you went about analyzing the data. 2nd, I got opinion from the experts. Then you talk about how you got opinion from the experts. And 3rd is you did a sensitivity analysis, and then you explain how you did the sensitivity analysis. And then in the end, you kind of summarize, because of me analyzing the data, getting the expert opinions, and doing the sensitivity analysis, we were able to have a good outcome of the project, and whatever that outcome was. But it would be nice to summarize in the end, because if the interviewer missed anything just because if you were not clear, or if they zoned out for a second or 2, they missed any point, you summarize in the end that these are the 3 actions that you took, which are the most relevant actions that they should be taking note of. Hopefully guys, this video was helpful for you to now have a good idea as to how you can go about really acing your answer for an interview question. In case you found this video valuable, I'm sure you'll find another video very valuable on my channel where I talk about the 10 most commonly asked behavioral interview questions. You can check it out here. Other than that, there is another video where I talk about how you can go about introducing yourself in an interview. You can check it out here. Thank you.